Welcome to His and Hers Perspectives.
I'm not going to give you my first name.
Okay, and I don't have to sign this, right?
You do have to sign it.
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, like I explained to him, if you don't sign it, then you're going to be physically taken to jail.
Gotcha.
So you refusing to sign?
What's your name?
Officer Brooks, 7452.
What's the badge number?
I gave it to you 2 times, man.
Okay, I'm asking again.
And I'm not giving it to you.
Okay.
Are you going to sign it?
No, because I want your badge number.
That's fine. You want to put your hands behind your back for me? Hey, listen, my man. She said she's not signing it. Put your hands behind your back.
Sir,
Ma'am?
you're hurting me.
Okay. I'm asking you to put your hands behind your back.
Sir?
Put your hands behind your back. 12, start me there,
Sir.
Ma'am, put your hand behind your back.
Come
on. I need you to back up.
I'm just saying, like,
I need you to back up.
You don't need to touch her like that.
She's not putting her hands behind her back.
I'm asking a question. All I'm doing is
Put your
asking
hands behind your back. Put your hands behind
Mr.
you. You're
Brooks.
under arrest. Put your hands behind your back. I asked you to sign the ticket. You told me you're not signing it.
Sir,
Put your hands
I'm
behind your back.
asking you a question.
Okay? I'm letting you know. I'm not going to ask you again. I'm going to forcibly put your hands behind your back.
But, sir, Mr. Brooks, is this really necessary?
But she tried to play him though by saying,
No, she did. She definitely did.
because she knew exactly what she was doing. And then after she's like, oh, I was just asking a question. I just wanted to know. No, sweetheart, he's got it on tape. And that's another thing, because he's got certain things on tape. If you just handled it in a more refined way, even his body cam would have been used against him.
Right. And, it's interesting that you just brought that up, because I was going to say she simply could have filed a Foia, which is a Freedom of Information Act, which is accessible by anyone who applies to receive that. And with that Freedom of Information Act, all body cameras are able to be, all of the data, all of the video is able to be acquired and used, in the court setting or whatever the situation may be. So if her rights were actually being violated, then she would have been able to acquire all of that evidence, which would have made her case much more robust.
Yes, most definitely. So, yeah, and obviously, as we mentioned, recourse simply means, it says recourse is if you have been damaged under the law, you can recover your losses. So, was she damaged? Would you say she was damaged? And damage doesn't necessarily go on.
Right. Well, I mean, if she would have played it the right way, again, the damage would have come in the sense of she was trying to, they were trying to find her without her necessarily knowing. So the law that she allegedly broke, she was unaware of because she was from out of town. So it could have been a situation to where the damage would have come in from, him trying to get her to sign a ticket, to then take commercial paper from her. He wanted to take money from her, right? So if she would have signed it that way, she could have avoided the ticket, which would have been the damage that was done to her.
Yes, financial damages and all of that. And then if she dealt with it the right way, she could talk about the emotional damages that she went through. But then again, she wouldn't even have got to that stage if she had just signed it.
She would have literally got back in her car and said, you know what, I do apologize. It must have been, a misunderstanding. I'm not from here. Have a good night, officer.
Yeah, actually, no, she could have got emotional damages by saying, it was very stressful for her and that she had to get that money and find that money and all of them things there. There's ways around it. I used to work in the bank and I was cool with the complaints department, and they be sharing some very interesting things on how you can word things to your advantage. So yeah, that could be, her emotional damages that it caused. Like I was under stress, and now my finances, I have to be paying this, and blah blah blah, etc., etc.
And just to make sure this is fully understood, again, the Uniform Commercial Codes are a group of codes, and I mean the second word of that acronym, commercial. I mean, it pretty much, it gives it all away. It's all commerce. So what those codes do is it gives a level of responsibility, if you will, because everyone has to play by that rule book. That is the rule book. So when you're dealing in commerce, that rule book is going to be your best friend or it will be your enemy. I want you to pause right now, stop whatever it is you're doing, and make sure to like the video. Everybody, hit that like button. It's free. It don't cost you nothing.
Yes.
It don't cost you nothing at all.
It don't cost you anything. And even subscribing, it don't cost you anything. And when you subscribe, you want to hit that notification button so that you get notified every single time we drop. Yes. Enemy if you don't know what you're doing. And even though we understand that majority of our audience are in the United States, for those who do watch from the United Kingdom, because we do have a few of you here as well watching the content, the equivalent of the UCC, because the girl had to do some research in that too, in order for me to know how to use certain things, that is the Consumer Credit Act. And again, like Jay mentioned, it says the UCC is commercial, and commercial is business, and the Consumer Credit Act here is all about business, money.
All about business. That's what it's all about.
And consumer rights. The consumer rights. Oh my God, I'm trying to remember all the other books that I've got off the top of my head, but I can't, because those are the two that I mainly be looking into when I'm dealing with them. And also if you're dealing with the FCA, which is the Financial Conduct Authority, that gives some good information as well, when it comes to, finances and stuff like that.
Ultimately, this is the thing. I mean, we have to become more familiar with these laws and these legal regulations and these books. Yes. These books are not just for lawyers. Mm-mm. You know what I mean? Like, we deal in commerce on a daily basis. If you drive into the store, you get pulled over, guess what? You've just been pulled into commerce, because by definition, when you drive a vehicle, in their eyes, you are already dealing in interstate commerce as it is. As soon as you get behind the wheel, from their own definitions, from their own viewpoint, you are participating in commerce. So, our day-to-day activities that we do act in are considered commerce under their laws. So why not have yourself in a situation where you're able to be much more prepared?
Yes. And also, that, as Jay mentioned as well, this is just another book that I just remember that we do have as well, the Data Protection Act. Guys, listen. Or the GDPR, I think that's what it's been updated to now. Like, it covers even things like dealing with the police and all of those different things, because when you exchange your details with them, that also goes into a system where people can access your data. So you have to literally become familiar with these things and understand the game that we're playing here, because it's all a game. But you see, once you understand it and know how to operate, you can literally pull yourself out. And but we have so much more content that we would love to share in this regard, but we would only want to share that with people who really and truly want to know that particular information. So if you are interested in topics like this and you want some assistance like that, definitely consider becoming a channel member, right? So we will create content like that for, you, if you are interested in this type of topic, because we feel like it's very important for people to know, because you can literally save yourself a lot of headache. Do you agree that people can save themselves a lot of headache and money?
Absolutely. I mean, with the direction of where everything is going, obviously with the prices of everything going up, obviously, if you understand that everything is commercial and essentially what they're trying to do is take more from us, then why not put yourself in a position to be able to protect your assets, to be able to protect you and your family and your situation? That's, that's what's most important. What we want to do is hold on and to keep as much as we can. We don't want to just, be giving it away, because, essentially it's modern slavery. It gets to the point to where you are, putting in those hours and you're bringing in your money, and you get pulled over, and guess what they're doing? They're taking it from you right here and there.
And they already taking taxes from you. Which you don't have to pay for.
And then, they jump right back into it, not right back into it. And I mean, just to kind of jump on that taxes, it's a touchy situation, because
you have to know what you're doing.
You have to know what you're doing, just to generally say you don't have to pay. I mean, as correct as that can sound, it's much deeper than that. So if you don't know anything about that, by all means, pay your taxes. Do not just start just saying, I don't have to pay these taxes. You know what I mean? There's so much more to it.
Yeah. Because there's so many things that we know that we do not have to do, but you have to know the laws that support what you're saying. Don't just stop paying taxes and then find yourself in prison. No, but we're basically saying, if you do your research, read these books, understand the law, you will be able to bypass that and live like the rich. Because you know how they always say, oh, the rich people should be taxed, the rich people should be this, and the rich people laugh at it like, are you serious? Because they know the law, they understand the law, and they play the game according. And that's what we all need to know.
In regards to tax, let me just drop a little bread on how you at least begin to look at that in a different light. And essentially what it boils down to is own nothing and control everything. And that is a tactic that is used by the rich, the mega wealthy, the people that you don't necessarily see or hear about. Those guys, they own nothing but control everything. And one of the main and major vehicles they use to be able to live that kind of lifestyle are trusts. You know what I mean? And again, like I said, that's a completely different topic, and I mean, it's very deep and it's very
and that's something that we'll definitely be more comfortable sharing with the channel members, for anyone who is interested in knowing that and how to pull themselves out of, as you would say, the public, and put yourself in the private to ensure that you are doing things correctly.
If you're appreciating the content and would like to show your support, consider becoming a channel member or sending a super chat, super sticker, super thanks, or alternatively, sending a cash app to #his/hers perspectives.